since Rosenberg's name keeps coming up, let me put some clarity on that too. Peter Rosenberg is talented. He's passionate about hip hop. He's one of those people who genuinely loves the culture, studies it, and respects where it comes from. I've always acknowledged that. We built moments together that mattered. Conversations that push things forward, not just noise for clicks. But let's not pretend working together was always smooth. We're very different people, different backgrounds, different communication styles, different ways of challenging power. And when you put strong personalities in a high pressure space like Hot 97, friction is part of the deal. Sometimes that friction made the show better. Sometimes it made things uncomfortable. And yeah, there were moments where ego, pride, or timing got in the way on both sides. That's real life, not radio fantasy. As for Hot 97, the station gave me a platform and I'll never deny that. It helped amplify voices, broke records, and shaped hip-hop history. But the same system that builds you can also limit you. Over time, the rules change. The margins get tighter, the conversations get safer. So this isn't about blaming Rosenberg or bashing Hot 97. It's about understanding how environments evolve and how not everyone is meant to evolve quietly. I respect what we built. I respect knowing when it's time to move on. Growth don't always look peaceful, but it's necessary. We grown men out here, let me tell you. And people gotta understand, when you're inside a building like Hot 97, relationships get tested by pressure. Not personal pressure, corporate pressure. Deadlines, ratings, advertisers, narratives. That stuff changes how rooms feel. And if you're not built to pretend everything's fine, you start standing out. Rosenberg and I didn't always agree, but we respected the craft. We respected the audience. We weren't chasing moments. We were creating conversations. That matters. The problem is, conversations don't always fit neatly into quarterly goals. I think Hot 97 struggled with that balance. Honoring legacy while being afraid of risk, that's the truth. And when fear creeps in, authenticity is the first thing that gets negotiated. But I don't walk away angry. I walk away aware. Aware that culture moves whether radio keeps up or not. Aware that voices don't lose value just because the building changes direction. So when people ask me what's next, I say this. The same mission, just a different platform. Speak honestly. Respect the culture. Challenge power. And never forget that hip-hop was born from friction, not comfort. That's not bitterness. That's clarity. And let's be honest. The audience is smarter than the industry gives them credit for. People know when conversations are real and when they're filtered. They can feel when something shifts, when the laughs get tighter, when topics get safer, when the edge starts disappearing. That's not on Rosenberg. That's not on any one person. That's what happens when platforms start protecting brands more than they protect voices. Hip-hop didn't grow because it was safe. It grew because it told the truth when nobody else would. I never believed my job was to be comfortable. My job was to be accountable. To artists, to listeners, to the culture that gave me a seat in the first place. And sometimes accountability costs you access. That's a trade I made consciously. Hot 97 will always be part of my story. You don't erase that. But stories evolve. Chapters end. And new chapters get written by people willing to stand on something. So if this moment teaches anything, it's this. Platforms don't define voices. Voices define platforms. And when one door closes, it usually means the room got too small for the conversation anyway. I'm not disappearing. I'm recalibrating. And trust me, the conversation is just getting started. And when I talk about Hot 97, I'm not talking from the outside throwing stones. I'm talking as someone who sat in the meetings, felt the temperature change, watched decisions get slower and safer. That's the part people don't see. From the outside, it looks the same, but inside, the energy shifts. There was a time when Hot 97 trusted its people, trusted instincts, trusted that the culture would respond if you stayed honest. Over time, that trust started getting replaced with layers, approvals, concerns, second guessing. And once that happens, creativity starts moving with handcuffs on. The station still has talent, still has history, still has influence. That's the good. The bad is when influence becomes more important than impact. When the question changes from "is this real" to "is this safe?" I didn't leave because I stopped caring. I left because I cared too much to pretend nothing was changing. And I know that makes people uncomfortable. But discomfort is part of growth. Hot 97 will always be a chapter in hip-hop history. Nobody can erase that. But history doesn't give you immunity from evolution. You either grow with the culture, or you slowly become a museum for it. And I refuse to be a tour guide for something that was once alive and breathing. I'd rather build something new than preserve something that's afraid to move. Let me say this about Peter Rosenberg, because real relationships deserve real conversations. Peter's one of the most passionate people I've ever worked with when it comes to hip hop. He cares about lyrics, history, bars, the craft. That's genuine, that's not performative. And that passion helped shape what our show became. At the same time, we come from different angles. I'm thinking culture-wide. Systems, power, impact beyond the record. Peter is locked in on the music itself, the purity of it. Sometimes those perspectives clash. Sometimes that friction made the show sharper. Other times, it made things heavy. That's the reality of working closely with someone for years. But I never questioned his love for hip-hop. I question how much room the system allows for different kinds of voices to coexist without trying to smooth the edges. Because not every disagreement is dysfunction. Sometimes it's just honesty. Peter stayed true to who he is. I stayed true to who I am. And when platforms start choosing comfort over complexity, they stop making space for both. So there's no bitterness there, just clarity. Respect doesn't mean agreement, and growth doesn't mean erasing the past. We built something real. And real things aren't always quiet or easy. They're just honest.